Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about a potential storm in the southern US. Now there's a lot of unconfidence about this, not a lot of confidence at all. So I'll be just addressing the different models, the different issues with the models, and just talking about what's the possible outcome, as well as a look into the long-range pattern as well. So stay tuned for that, and we will dive right into this. Before we do, if you're a new viewer, consider checking out my channel, seeing if it's worthy of a subscription. If you are a subscriber, please consider liking the video, as that really helps. So now let's look at the model, the GFS model. Notice that we have a pretty large system that's occurring right now across the northern U.S., Michigan, Wisconsin. That passes through, and that's what sets the stage, really, after it leaves for the southern storm. So notice it stalls a cold front across the southern U.S. right there, across Alabama, into the Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, all those states right there, and many more. And that doesn't really move, right? And once it does, by midweek, it drags up another low pressure, some moisture. And on the top side of this, there could be a little bit of snow, as there's a high pressure right here. And with the warm and moist air coming from the south and cold and the dry air coming from north, it forms a little bit of snow. And you can see that the snow by the GFS is really minimal, as it was the one that showed the least couple days ago, but now it's showing actually more than it was showing you a couple model runs ago. But you can see that it's showing the snow there, and if you were to look in the future, that passes through pretty quickly. But the other talk of a chance of a system was across these locations right here. The NAM 12KM, the NAM model, shows some pretty extensive snow across these locations. The GFS, as you can see, does not. So which one at this point is right is a little bit tough to tell. It seems like the GFS and European have a better handle on it, which they don't show much across the Virginia area and North Carolina. It's a possibility, but I don't think it will be occurring. And I just want to mention that afterwards you can see another storm happens midweek, and it seems like a very active pattern continues across the United States. For now, let's just keep and focus on the storm that's in the south. Notice there's snow across the northern U.S. From this system. Here's the snow across the southern U.S. You can see it's nothing too significant. It's actually pretty miserable. But that's the GFS probably shows the least amount. So you can see it puts out a little bit of snow across southern North Carolina, but nothing really compared to what the NAM does. And you can see NAM puts out more widespread snow here, more to the north, and just a really decent amount of snow across the south. Now, I don't think that will really be occurring, though the NAM has been has been right in the past with these type of systems in the southern U.S., so I can't completely disregard that. But notice how it includes quite a bit of snow across Kansas and Oklahoma and into Texas, so that snow will definitely be occurring there. It seems a little bit more than what the GFS is showing, and that passes through and it evolves into another storm across the Carolinas, and that's where a lot of the differences are shown. Now it's been proven by the meteorological, or my meteorological data and scientific research, that the NAM North American model has a bias. It has cold bias, usually shows colder than this. In this case, that would be a difference, but it's not too significant, as really the cold air is there. It's just the placement of the storm, which could definitely still switch. So the NAM has shown these type of extreme scenarios before and has been right, but it's also been many times wrong. So whether or not it will be wrong or right this time, it's tough to tell. We'll have to look at some more models, shall we? So let's look at the Canadian. Notice the Canadian puts out snow across Kansas, Oklahoma, right across the southern U.S., but then it doesn't really show much across the Carolinas. Shows a bit, but not much moisture sneaks into those areas. Seems like the cold air is dominant and just kind of drives that away. So that's interesting to note of. We'll have to definitely keep an eye on for that. Wait, why am I looking? I meant to go on Canadian model. Sorry, I was on GFS. But notice that it really does a similar thing. You can see that it brings a little bit further to the north, but the moisture, again, is not there, not supportive of it, and again, the high pressure drives it away. Though it does show quite a decent snow event across the Kansas area, and you can see several more across onto next week. So winter's not done even for the southern locations. So this is definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on for and keep track of, as this thing may switch around and be something more of what the NAM is showing, which would be very intriguing. Now, if you look at the European model, the ECMWF, it's not really showing any big storms off the coast up until Friday, which by the time it does that, it's way far off the coast to produce any significant snow for the Carolinas. It does show many storms later on across the U.S., but not really the Carolinas. But again, it seems like across the plains of Texas, not the plains of Texas, sorry, in northern panhandle of Texas, the panhandle of Oklahoma, and Kansas and Nebraska could see quite a bit of snow, actually. This may be a little bit even underestimated, some of the weather models. You can see they're putting out 3 to 6 inches of snow. So that is a pretty exciting storm that could be occurring. And we'll definitely have to keep an eye on for that, especially as we go on into the future days, as this will be occurring relatively soon after this northern storm passes through. If you were to look at some other models, they don't really show any because it's still too far out. You can see this only goes out to Wednesday, but it does show that snow forming. Let's go back to that same region. Let's just, God darn it, come on. I want to go to this right here, and let's go to radar. Let's go to rain/frozen. Notice they show a little bit of precip, but it's not too significant. And if we were to look at the NAM model, at 48 hours, it doesn't show much either. It's only what happens afterwards. So we'll have to see what the short range models come out with and show if whether or not that gives us any more insight on what's to come. Notice that the European model shows a good extent of snow across the Kansas area, the Nebraska area, and into Colorado. You could see a general 3 to 5 inches. But then once it comes to the Carolinas, it doesn't show much either. It shows maybe 1 to 2 inches, which is actually, impactful, but it wouldn't be a huge snow system. Across the mountains of Tennessee, or the hills of Tennessee, you could see that maybe an inch across the higher elevated areas, but across the lower, Arkansas area, or further out west Tennessee, not really much, maybe half an inch. But we'll have to keep an eye on this storm, as it could definitely keep itself together. Does not seem likely, but it's definitely a possibility. Again, the heaviest snow seems to be falling across Kansas and Nebraska and into Colorado. Further out east, it really isn't looking likely. We'll have to watch other models as they come in, see what's going on with those. But again, I really am doubting that across the Carolinas. So if we were to look at the National Weather Service Weather Ready Nation map, and let's click on, say, southwestern Kansas, where we could see some snow there later on in the weekend. Let's just click on a random county. You can see they put out Wednesday's chance of snow, Wednesday night, snow likely. So, they are definitely addressing that issue. Let's go to their weather story page and let's see what they're saying. Again, you can see that they're showing midweek snow accumulations likely, widespread 2+ inches. I think, again, there could be amounts of up to 4 to 5 inches, especially with these events. They're very unpredictable, guys, across the south, which is really the main reason why I'm still kind of unsure about these amounts, about this in North Carolina. We could be looking at, a possible storm system there, even if it's not showing yet. You can see they're showing chance of rain and snow across, what is this? This is Scranton, North Carolina, 9 miles northeast. So we'll have to wait and see at this point. It's all up for a gamble. Let's look at the northern storm that's going on right now across Wisconsin. We are seeing some light to moderate snow, really nothing too heavy. But the amounts are definitely, rather significant. You could see 3 to 5 inches across Green Bay, Oshkosh, Appleton, into Watoma, Manitowoc, and all those cities across within 50, maybe 100 miles radius of Green Bay should be seeing around 3 to 5 inches. You can see some cold airs also coming in towards the upper Midwest. That's the other thing. We'll be looking at some relatively chilly air across the U.S. This coming weekend. This week, but again, it doesn't seem like it will be as bad as it was last week, which it was pretty tough. You can see across Minnesota, northeast Iowa, 3 to 5 inches, 3 to 4 inches, really nothing else. several inches accumulations. Not really a cause for winter storm warning, but some winter weather advisories. But keep an eye out for this, especially across the panhandles and southern Kansas and even into Nebraska. Keep an eye out for this storm. As well, you can see they're showing, even across the panhandles, showing snow, light snow. So potential for measurable snow with some impacts. So there's definitely, they're definitely monitoring this, and I just wanted to bring it to you, showing you that the threat remains. Also, I really want to emphasize that there's going to be a lot of flooding, more flooding going on across the south as more rain is expected. And I know some locations are just absolutely schmogged with rain. And it seems like there won't be really a big break this upcoming days. After that, it seems maybe a little bit more dry weather. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video. Consider subscribing to this channel. And I will catch you guys all on the next episode. See ya!